Everybody, it's Dr. Sam. It's what day is today? Thursday? Yeah. Today we are going to be talking about weight loss and fat burning and decreasing your appetite and increasing your metabolism. First of all, thank you for joining in. Hopefully you've been tuning in a couple times this week. We've been doing it all this week for my birthday week. So today is the weight loss session, and I think tomorrow is going to be energy. So now weight loss and energy are connected. But again, thanks for joining in. Just getting in a little bit of people. Thank you, Blanca. Happy birthday. Appreciate it. Hola, Jason. So again, today's is a topic when it comes to weight loss, and I'll let people join in. A little bit of background. Well, first of all, my name's Dr. Sam Robbins. You guys don't know. My background is actually, I got bachelor's, master's, and a doctorate in nutrition, kinesiology, and also endocrinology, which is a study of hormones, and also pharmacology, which is a study of drugs. So, for me, I've always stated that genetics aside, the way you look and feel is based on your hormones. And hormones can turn on or off different genetic aspects of your life. They can trigger and so forth. And lifestyle makes a big difference. How you sleep, your mindset, what you eat and don't eat, the amount of sun, exercise, what kind of exercise, all these things can trigger your hormones, can trigger genetics. And I know when it comes to weight loss and fat burning, genetics is a big factor. I know people are still tuning in and so forth. So I personally, when I started this whole world, I've always been quote unquote skinny, but I was never skinny and lean. And there's a big difference between being skinny and lean and being skinny and fat. And skinny and lean means that you, again, let's just say you're a guy, you might only weigh 150 pounds or whatever, but you can see all the striations in the muscle, the separation, you have veins everywhere. The skinny and fat guy he's still 150 pounds, but it's just like, it's skinny, yet there's no muscle definition. It's almost like a feminine body. So, I know a lot of us are dealing with that these days. And a lot of those things are hormonal. I remember growing up, I would see some guy's legs or muscles. I'm like, how come he has, veins on his legs and all that? And I didn't have it. Nowadays, I have veins everywhere, all over my legs, my arms, my forearms, even my abs. But it took a long time for me to get to that level. So that's one thing I want to tell people when it comes to weight loss and fat burning is that it takes time. Okay. It's not something that happens overnight. You need to be patient. You need to be persistent. You need to create good habits. And any of you who are parents out there, you need to create good habits for your kids, because these habits that they learn as they grow up, whether they pick it up through their friends or society, and they pick a lot of habits up from you, the way you eat, what you don't eat, how much you eat, how often you eat, when you eat, and all those things. If you're a stress eater, if you're not, they pick up these habits and it affects them the rest of their life. So one of the greatest things you can do to live longer is to have more muscle and to decrease body fat. First of all, can everybody hear me today? If you can, say yes. Yes, awesome. Thanks, Bori. Is weight loss and insulin, is weight loss and gain influenced by insulin? It's a great question. Yeah, thank you guys. I started just chatting along and I didn't even realize it. And actually my live chat here paused. Thank you, loud and clear. All right, thanks, Tiara and Knighton, and thanks, Flight of Justice. I appreciate it. So, first of all, there's different factors and hormones that affect weight loss and fat gain. There is there's various hormones, kind of like adiponectic, adiponectin, and then there's cortisol. You guys have heard about it. It's stress hormone, and it comes from your adrenal glands over your kidneys. There's also ghrelin, and that creates it from your stomach acid. That stimulates hunger. There's insulin, which we discussed a little bit earlier, and that is more of a fat storage, but also increases muscle. There's leptin, which is produced by your fat cells, and that lowers, cravings and burns fat. There's also your thyroid gland, which a lot of people know. It increases your metabolism. And it's true that some of us have a slower metabolism genetically. Like I said, I've always been skinny. I've had a brother who's always been chubby. But keep something in mind, for example, some people are also, there's hormones that affect your metabolism. That's what I want to discuss today. But there's also things that improve serotonin and dopamine and all these things that cause you to be a stress eater. For example, me, when I'm under stress, I don't eat. Yet a lot of people, especially women, when they're under stress, they do eat. So it's not even like a hormonal thing as far as metabolism. It's just they end up eating. So if your goal is to lose weight, the simplest thing is obviously the less calories in, the more calories you burn. But the type of foods you eat matter. And this is called nutrient partitioning effect. Some of you have heard of MSG, monosodium glutamate. It's a salt. And they used to put it in, when you go out to eat Chinese food and stuff. MSG actually has a negative nutrient partitioning effect. That means when you eat food, the food actually ends up being stored as fat. It's just salt. It's a form of salt, monosodium glutamate, but it ends up storing fat versus burning fat. If you improve your hormones, let's say guys, you take testosterone, it has a positive nutrient effect. That means when you eat food, it goes more towards the muscle cells and energy rather than fat storage. Women, estrogen does the opposite. It tends to store fat. Okay. And for example, insulin is a fat storage hormone. This is why a lot of people say low carbs are good or being on a ketogenic diet is good. However, at the end of the day, even with studies, total calories matter. Okay. So keep that in mind. It also depends on how you do with insulin. Meaning, so for example, I have a product called Blood Sugar Optimizer. I take it with every meal to optimize my blood sugar. In the old days, if I had carbs, I would get tired and sleepy because my body didn't do well with carbohydrates. I was not insulin sensitive. Now I get energy when I eat carbohydrates, and I don't store it as fat like when I was younger. I take Blood Sugar Optimizer. The more muscle you have, the more insulin sensitive you are. The longer you live when you're more insulin sensitive. So you have to have a carbohydrates, but eat good carbs. About anywhere between 20 to maybe 35% of your calories can come from carbohydrates, but it's good carbs. Can whey protein cause kidney failure? No. Can diabetics take egg yolk? Yes. Can zinc picolinate burn fat? No. Can taking berberine worth taking it if you're in your 20s and not type 2 diabetes? Berberine is a type of herb that helps improve insulin sensitivity. It's in my Blood Sugar Optimizer product. It helps, but it's one factor. And I always suggest at any age, you should improve your insulin sensitivity. You'll build more muscle and you'll burn more fat. You'll have more energy. It's better for your brain. It's better for your cognition. Definitely when you're older, you have to take it. When you're younger, the sooner you start, the better. I also have a product called Lean Optimizer. I mentioned this because Lean Optimizer helps optimize a lot of these hormones, the fat burning hormones, such as cortisol and ghrelin and insulin, leptin, all these things. And part of the things you want to do is you want to increase your fat burning hormones, but you also want to decrease your appetite. This is a big thing. This is why some people say you should be on a higher carbohydrate diet. When you're on a higher protein diet, when you eat more protein, your stomach is fuller, longer. So you're more satiated, is what it's called, and you don't want to eat as much. Same thing when you add a little bit of fat and fiber to all your meals. So protein, fat, fiber should be eaten first. That's why vegetables are good, a little bit of olive oil maybe, some good protein. When you eat that and a little bit of carbs, then not only did you get all the nutrients and macros and all that, you're feeding your brain, your muscles, your heart, all these things, improving your hormones, but you're also fuller longer, okay? So that's another thing you want to keep in mind. What controls ghrelin? You know, cortisol is a big factor. Cortisol is your stress hormone. This is what someone asked. And ghrelin is produced in the stomach cells. You want to decrease it. It stimulates hunger as well as fat storage. Again, Lean Optimizer contains a couple herbs that reduce ghrelin, and it really does work, okay? But again, Lean Optimizer, if you want to take it in addition, it helps everything. But decreasing body fat is important. Decreasing cortisol levels is important. The less body fat, the less ghrelin. The less cortisol levels, the less ghrelin. And I have that stress and cortisol relief product as well, helps reduce stress. Also sleep. Sleep is a huge important factor. The better you sleep, the less ghrelin you have. In fact, a lot of times when people don't sleep well, their stress hormones go up, their blood sugar levels go up, insulin sensitivity goes down, you create a hormonal imbalance and ghrelin goes up and you're like constantly hungry. Cortisol goes up, constantly hungry. Leptin starts to decrease. So you're, again, hungry. So sleep is very important. Keep that in mind. Lowering cortisol is important. So those are some of the things you want to do. Let's see, what else? Remember, guys, today is about weight loss and fat burning and all these things. You can ask a million questions if you want. If it doesn't pertain to that, I am going to ignore you. So don't waste my time or yours doing it. How can I lower cortisol? Now, this is for anxiety reasons, but cortisol causes you to, it's a kind of fight or flight hormone. A lot of it I've heard about it. That's why I created stress and cortisol relief. Before I go any further, you know, I should mention that this week, only for the next 2 days, an additional 25% off everything at our websites. That's up to 55%. There's a link below here. Directly, you'll activate a coupon just for my YouTube listeners. So again, underneath this video, there's a link in addition to all the products and topics we're talking about today. But reducing cortisol helps because, again, cortisol eats away at the muscle. As high cortisol goes up, your testosterone comes down. Cortisol goes up, insulin, blood sugar goes up. Cortisol is a lot of problems. So that's why I always tell people to manage their stress, to manage their mindset, to sleep better. Again, you can take stress and cortisol relief. I've mentioned this before. I take it before bed and I take it right after my workouts. Thank you. It says, I'm skinny and I get belly from being an alcoholic. Alcohol is a toxin, guys. There's nothing good in alcohol. Anything good that someone promotes about alcohol, it's good for heart and it's good for this. There's more negative than positive every single time. It's a toxin to the brain. It's a toxin to the body. Alcohol is a toxin. Anyone who justifies it, there's this doctor who says low carbs, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to name his name. But then you have 2 glasses of wine every day, which is pure sugar. And alcohol sugar. It's toxic. Stop drinking alcohol. You're going to have problems later on in life, if not already. Lower it and you'll feel much better. In fact, here's a true story. I used to know this guy. He was a model. I call him Model Dan. He was a Marlboro guy. He has men's fitness. This guy had great genetics. He needed to get in shape. I said, dude, just stop drinking alcohol for a month and you'll get in shape. He lowered his alcohol. He lost 15 pounds in 30 days and got ripped. All because he lowered his alcohol intake. So keep that in mind. Why should cortisol be high in the morning? Cortisol gives you energy. Cortisol improves your brain cognition. If you took a drug called prednisone, which is basically oral cortisol, you know, you're taking it, you're like jacked up, right? You're ready to go. You should be. And some people are like, man, I'm so tired in the morning, but then I can't sleep at night. Your cortisols are imbalanced. Every hormone in the body has a benefit. Nothing bad is designed in the body. You just want to optimize your hormone. You don't want to have zero cortisol. Trust me, I played with my hormones. I've taken drugs to kill my cortisol. And you're like, oh, you're just dead all day. You don't want that. So you want cortisol in the morning. It helps actually burn a little fat. You're more cognition is better and all this stuff. You start the day, you're feeling good. But as the day goes on, cortisol levels should decrease, melatonin goes up, and then you start to sleep better and so forth, okay? So that's what you want. Someone asked, how do I gain weight? What's today's topic again? Weight loss. Wrong place, buddy. So don't ask. Another thing I want to talk about is someone asked again, how do I slow metabolism? What's today's topic? Weight loss. Boy, if only people could read instructions. Comprehension is an amazing thing in life that most people are lacking. So I even forget what the question was. So who cares? Another thing I want to talk about is people who do eat carbohydrates. All right. I know everyone wants to be on a low carb diet and so forth. One of the biggest problem is some people, not me, if you want to not eat a certain food at all, right? I know someone says, let's do an occasional cheat meal just to help with your cravings. I don't consider having a cheat day. That's horrible. But an occasional cheat meal once in a while helps boost your metabolism. It's also good for your brain. I created a product called CHEATmeals. It helps block carbs, sugars, and fats. It contains digestive enzymes and fibers. So I take 3 of those before I go out. And one of the biggest problems with sticking to a diet is when you go out to eat, right? You go out with your friends, it's a family. That was my biggest problems. I go out to a party or someone's birthday, and I'd be sitting here eating like celery and trying to eat. Well, you know what? I would take a big glass of water, 3 capsules of the cheat meals. It would kill my appetite, yet I'd still eat some junk, have some food. I fit in, I had a good time, and then I was done, and I didn't gain any weight. That's the important part. Let's see. Someone says, I'm 15. How do I lose belly fat? You know what? You're still young. You're still growing. I know some of you are young. That's why I want to address the young people. Eat better. Stop eating. Guys, anyone who drinks soda, including fake sugars, it's not good for you, okay? You don't want to stimulate insulin release, which is pure sugar. Stop eating man-made foods. If you just eat healthy proteins, carbs, and fats, you'll do much better. You'll immediately lose belly fat. And you also want to sleep better. But if you're young, you're still growing. Is Metamucil good for weight loss? Metamucil is basically a fiber. I take psyllium husk. If you take Metamucil, take it the one without the sugar and doesn't contain aspartame. Take it twice a day. It's good at filling up your stomach. It's good with reducing your appetite. Fiber is very good with just keeping your bowel movements healthy, reduces insulin, and keeps you a little bit fuller and reduces appetite. BMR diet to lose weight based on required BMR. It's basal metabolic rate is BMR. It's not very accurate. It depends on your height, your weight, your age, and this and that, right? So it's not accurate. If you're like a 260-pound bodybuilder who's got low body fat and lots of muscle, the BMR is going to be completely off. So it's not a good way. The best way to see how you're doing is look in the mirror. Guys, you should have at least some kind of a blurry abs. At least a 4-pack blurry is the goal. I'm not telling you to do a 6-pack. Forget body fat percentages. I've done my body fat where I've done a DEXA scan or calipers. I've been 6 to 8%. I'm not. I have 6-pack abs. I have veins, but I'm probably like 10 or 12%. Okay. So don't do any, just look by how you feel. Take a look how you feel and how you look. Always do that. Forget all these stats. Forget body fat percentages. You should have at least blurry abs. Tips for losing fat for women on your legs. I've done this. Again, I used to deal with a lot of professional athletes, women, female bodybuilders, fitness people. That was in a different lifetime, that was my profession. Putting fat on your lower body. I used to have high estrogen. And remember I told you, I used to have soft legs. Now my legs are shredded. Okay. I've got like cross striations. I've got veins everywhere. Never in a million years did I think I'd have it. Why? I've lowered my estrogen levels. Now, guys, this is important. You get man boobs, estrogen, hair loss, estrogen, body fat, estrogen, stomach fat, estrogen, and cortisol. And again, Lean Optimizer helps deal with this. Stress and cortisol relief helps deal with this. Alpha Viral helps deal with all this. But for women, especially, you can't lower estrogen levels because that's part of your body. The greatest thing you can do if you don't want to take drugs is to lower your body fat. Your fat produces estrogen. on its own. It's toxic. It's bad estrogen. Lower your body fat and you will slowly get leaner and leaner everywhere. Again, you can take my products. There's a link below. It helps. It speeds up the process. But again, improve your diet, decrease body fat, and you'll immediately look better. What are my thoughts on an Atkins diet? When Dr. Atkins was alive, I had spoken to him a few years because I was in Los Angeles or, in LA right now. So I had access to a lot of these people. I tried an Atkins diet back then. Atkins diet is basically a ketogenic diet. Unfortunately, they've changed the diet. A true ketogenic diet is like 80% fat, okay? Another like 10%, 15% protein, and maybe 5% natural carbs, okay? It's a disgusting diet, okay? It's really disgusting, and it's not the ideal diet. Most people take a while, especially if you have a lot of muscle, to get into ketosis, but it's a good way to burn fat. You should not be on it all the time. If you want to do a ketogenic diet, it should be cycled, because if you're on a ketogenic diet, your thyroid, your testosterone, your growth hormone, all these things slowly decrease. Women, it's really hard on women's body because your cortisol levels shoot up on a ketogenic diet. Men have testosterone to help improve it. So if you're going to do a ketogenic diet, take stress and cortisol relief. Again, it's at my website. And additional 25% all this week. There's a link below. That's an up to 55% total. But you want to lower cortisol levels. Unfortunately, keto, it increases it. So you got to cycle it. Maybe a couple months on, a couple of weeks off or whatever it is. So that's the thing. Again, a true ketogenic diet is not high protein. Protein converts to gluconeogenesis. So you want to have very high fat, very low protein, zero carbs, which is a disgusting way to live life. How do I reduce bulk in the legs? I've already addressed that. Pay attention, people. Can taking zinc help testosterone? Wrong day, buddy. How do I get rid of love handles? Okay. No one puts fat in their love handles. No one, directly there. It's just where you tend to go. So that's where some guys' fat goes. Now, I used to have a lot more belly fat. What did I do to decrease it? Obviously, you want to lose fat, does it? I lowered my estrogen. I lowered my cortisol levels. I decreased my blood sugar levels. All of those things, again, blood sugar optimizer, lean optimizer, stress and cortisol relief, everything I tell you guys to do, I do for myself. Every product I've ever created is really for myself because it works. I don't create thousands of products because I create only the best that works for specific jobs. So all those things slowly burns fat and prevents excess body fat in those areas. I used to have a friend, the guy was ripped everywhere, but his love handles were like that thick. I'm like, you only put fat in your abs and your love handles. It's like he'd be the perfect candidate for liposuction. When I improved his diet and gave him all my supplements over the next year, not a couple days, he lost 3 inches in his stomach, all because I helped improve his hormones. Women, if you're a person who puts a lot of belly fat on your stomach and all, that stress levels and insulin is high. So you want to decrease that stuff. Someone asked, how much cardio is optimal for cutting fat without losing muscle if I'm skinny person? Gain more muscle, dude. Forget doing cardio. Gain more muscle, eat better. Guys, cardio is not going to burn fat the way you think. If you ran for an hour straight, sprinted, you'd burn maybe 500 or 600 calories, max. That's like a slice of pizza. Cardio is a scam. Cardio increases cortisol levels. Cardio is lame, okay? Get up and walk 10 or 15 minutes in the morning, walk 10 or 15 minutes after each meal, perfectly fine. Fast walk, not when you're like smelling the roses every 2 seconds, okay? But don't run, don't sprint, don't do any of that stuff, okay? Improve your weightlifting, gain more muscle, your body fat will drop and you will burn a lot more belly fat. You'll look better, you'll feel better. An old girlfriend who I just told her to do all these things. She was running 5 to 8 miles every day. After I got done with her, her body fat dropped. She gained muscle. She never, ever did cardio again. And she looked phenomenally better. Cardio is for suckers. I'm skinny. My estrogen is 301. Yeah, bro, you've got issues. And that's why you're short. Estrogen keeps you short. You need to see why your estrogen levels are so high. That's really, really bad. Can I mix alpha V with blood flow optimizer? Yes. Pay attention to today's topic. Best tips to reduce fat and weight in diabetics. I want to discuss something about diabetes and something very important. Give me 1 second. There's type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and then type 3 diabetes. And listen carefully. This is very important. I've mentioned lowering your blood sugar is the key to living a healthier, longer life, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. Type 1 diabetes is genetics. You get it, whatever. Your body just doesn't produce insulin in your pancreas like it used to. Okay. There's type 2 diabetes, which happens because of lifestyle, eating too much food, this and that, too much burden on your pancreas, too many carbs, too much high blood sugar, blah, blah, blah. And type 3 diabetes is a new one. It's more related to Alzheimer's and brain dementia and all that stuff. Because blood sugar affects your muscles, affects your belly fat. It also affects your brain. All of it can be reversed. What? Yes. All of it can be reversed except type 1 diabetes. However, everyone I've ever dealt with, I've reversed type 3, I've reversed type 2, and with type 1, I've dramatically lowered their insulin levels and everything. Why? Improve their diet. I tell them to take blood sugar optimizer, again, whatever. You want to take that, take it, give it a try. Again, it comes with a 1-year guarantee. In fact, if it doesn't give you the results, you get $100 back on top of the refund. Okay, this is how good the product is. All my products come with that guarantee. But gain more muscle, lose belly fat, work out with weights, less cardio, sleep better, eat more natural foods, no more processed foods, stop dealing with all the artificial sugars. All right. Can rope skipping reduce belly fat? Yeah, because you're just burning more calories, but that's not what I suggest. Hey, stop asking the same question 30 times. Again, guys, all right. I'm not going to be answering any more questions because nobody likes to keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. So another thing I'm going to talk about is, again, I've mentioned stress. I've mentioned insulin. I've mentioned all the different hormones. It's always hormones, okay? For example, women don't do well with stress, okay? And that's because they're not genetically designed to do so, because testosterone is a natural cortisol stress blocker. Women don't have that. That's why they also need more sleep. So if you're a woman, obviously my audience is more men, but even if you're a guy, you want to reduce cortisol levels. Why? Because as you reduce cortisol, your testosterone goes high. Cortisol goes up, testosterone drops. So this is why I always tell people to sleep better. This is why I tell people also, let's talk about intermittent fasting. A lot of you love intermittent fasting. It's so lame. You're going to what? Not eat for 16, 18 hours, 20 hours a day? People are like, yeah, I lost all this weight. It's not because you did intermittent fasting, bozo. It's because you just didn't eat food. You ate less total calories. And trust me, anyone who does intermittent fasting, slowly their metabolism slows down over time. Okay? Intermittent fasting only works for that reason. Now, if you're trying to gain muscle, which is everyone's goal is to gain muscle. Intermittent fasting, you'll lose muscle. Why? Require protein synthesis throughout the day. Fat can be stored. Glucose and sugar can be stored. Protein can't be stored. That's why you need to eat throughout the day protein sources, okay? Would you, a growing baby, would you feed the baby only 4 hours a day? No, the baby won't grow. Now, if you're trying to gain muscle, which is everyone's goal, whether you're 20 or 80, you need to eat protein throughout the day. Okay. Now you can do intermittent fasting, maybe 12 hours a day, fine, whatever, even though I don't suggest it. Bodybuilders, they're eating like 20 times a day, not 20 times, but they're eating like 8 times a day. To this day, if I get up in the middle of the night, which I do, I eat. When I don't, I start to slowly lose muscle and get fatter. Okay. However, you want to do intermittent fasting. I get it. It has a lot of benefits. Don't get me wrong. But if your goal is to gain muscle and lose fat, do intermittent fasting maybe 1 day out of the week, or do it like 2 days out of the week for not 12 hours. If you're doing every day, like 20 hours, I know like Dr. Gundry does intermittent fasting. He eats one big salad a day. The guy's fat. He's totally unhealthy. How many calories can you eat one meal a day? He's not. His metabolism is shot to shit. So there you go. Is cardio useless? No, cardio is good for your heart. But as far as burning fat, I'd much rather you ate better, and I'd much rather you worked out and gained more muscle. I don't understand. Will calorie deficit stunt growth? Yes, absolutely. If you are growing, not getting enough food will keep you shorter. Not getting enough nutrients will keep you shorter. One reason people are taller a little bit these days is because they're eating more junk. They're eating more calories. A lot of people don't eat enough food, that happens. But most of us are eating plenty of food. Okay. Krill oil, yeah. Can a teenager go on a diet? I don't know what you mean on a diet. Listen, guys, my first diet was in the 6th grade. I don't know how old are you in the 6th grade, right? 12? My first diet was that. I was chubby, skinny fat, and I needed to eat. Every day I'd come home and my mom would give me this big plate of spaghetti and go, eat. Spaghetti and meatballs. Every freaking day my mom would feed it to me. And I liked it. And I stopped. I said, I don't want any. I didn't do intermittent fasting. I didn't do this or that. I didn't take some. I just ate one less meal. And I lost the fat. I lost the weight. I was chubby. And ever since then, ever since the age of in 6th grade, I have been on a diet, whether it's a gain muscle, lose fat, I've tried every diet on the planet. So I know about it. If you're young, eat better. If you eat better, you don't need to diet. Is less carbs, more protein diet good? I don't know. Depends on how much carbs or less you're doing. You need stat. It's like, is more money better? If you already have $10 million, having more money is not going to make any difference. Got it? Can we do yoga? Sure. No problem. What are my thoughts on fish oil? Fish oil is very good. Training for a pump. Sorry, today's weight loss. Not a good question. How do I lose belly fat without being in a calorie deficit? I'm 12. I'm 15 years old. Hey, winner, I think I've answered this question a few times. How often should I eat? I eat 5, 6, 7 times a day. Okay. I do better with smaller meals more frequently. If I don't eat for a few hours, I get tired and slow. My body burns a lot of calories now. My body craves food. Okay. Again, you want to gain muscle, you have to be eating proteins throughout the day. Keep that in mind. All these people are giving you advice on keto this and intermittent fasting that. Tell them to take their clothes off. They don't look good. They're out of shape. Okay. You don't want to look like them. No bodybuilder is eating, 1 or 2 meals a day. Fitness people, no one's doing that. No athlete who's winning the Olympics or professional athlete or any of these people who are exercising, gaining muscle, losing fat is eating 1 meal a day. No one's on these ketosis diets. No one's on super low carbs. Nobody. Okay. So think how those people do it. Here's another thing. Someone asked, is a warrior diet good? I forget the carnivore diet. Look, guys, they're like, this is how people used to eat in the old days. What fool could eat meat all day long? You think it's easy to kill an animal? Let's just talk about thousands of years ago. You think it was easy to just kill an animal, bring the food back, do all the things you're going to do, and what? Where were you going to store all this meat? In the refrigerator? You had no electricity. So think about it, people. Nobody ate all high protein, all meat diets ever in the history. Okay. It was rare. Meat has always been more as a bonus, more like a dessert. Every human being who's lived the longest on the planet does not eat a super high protein, low carb, low fat diet. So carnivore diets are for suckers. The only reason the carnivore diet works better for certain people, and by the way, everyone's like, this study, that study, is because they've eliminated a lot of different foods from their thing. Like, I felt better on the carnivore diet because you eliminated like every freaking food. Maybe you stopped eating all the junk and processed carbs and sugars and all that. Maybe that. Ever thought about that? So keep that in mind. Carnivore diet is not going to, and by the way, I don't know too many people are on a carnivore diet for 5, 10, 20 years straight. All these people go on a carnivore diet for a few weeks or months. I feel better. Yeah, stick on that. Stick on that stupid diet of yours for years and years, nonstop. Not too many people do it. It completely ruins your hormones, including your testosterone levels. So keep that in mind. Don't you guys just love it when someone keeps posting the same question over and over and over again? Keep asking, keep wasting your time. Someone asked, how do I reduce my cravings for sugar? Get rid of sugar. Taking Lean Optimizer kills your sugar cravings. It kills it. I designed it because increasing your metabolism is what Lean Optimizer does, okay? Which is good. It decreases all these problems that causes slower metabolism. It increases hormones that increase your metabolism, all these things, but it also kills your appetite. The biggest problem with losing fat is not so as much your metabolism as some of us can't stop eating because a lot of us are emotional eaters. So the less sugar you have in your diet, processed sugars and all that, the less you crave sugar. Okay. Also, something very important as far as the sugar cravings, you want to get rid of candida. It's yeast. Guys have it, women have it, I had it. How do you do it? You get rid of sugar in your diet. First of all, nothing with yeast, no alcohol, no sugars, nothing. Then take probiotics and prebiotics, and also I suggest coconut oil and caprylic acid a little bit. That will slowly get rid of candida and yeast. Yeast eats up, the fungi eats all that sugar. So you eat the sugar, the yeast eats the sugar, and then your body's like, man, I'm hungry for more sugar because the yeast ate it all. So this is very important. Get rid of sugar, get rid of yeast, and we all have yeast and candida in our blood. So don't think it's just women who get a yeast infection. It's a completely different. I had it for years. I had it. I was foggy and tired, and I feel good. I don't take sugar anymore. I take pre and probiotics. I've already mentioned it. What about resistant starches? Yeah, it's good. I've mentioned that. Brown rice I've mentioned, and so forth. It's good. But keep something in mind. All resistant starch means is it's just less calories are being absorbed, less carbs, okay? How do I get rid of gynecomastia? Surgery or decrease your estrogen levels. Does fat loss improve facial features? If you're fat face, yeah. Look at me, I'm chiseled, right? I've got muscles, you can't see it over here. I got like jaw muscles, okay? Fine, but if you're older like me, I'm gonna look older and older every year because I'm just lean. The older you get, the less fat you put in your face because of less growth hormone and so forth. So keep that in mind. This is the problem when women, especially, go on these extreme fat loss diets, go on super low ketogenic, low carb diets, all these various diets. You lose fat in all the wrong places. Women will lose it in their face. They lose it in their breasts. Guys will lose their muscle. You want to lose fat in all the right places, not in the wrong places. So keep that in mind, okay? That's the secret. For example, when you take Lean Optimizer, when you take Blood Sugar Optimizer, when you take cortisol and stress relief, it optimizes your hormones so you lose fat in the right places rather than the wrong places. Because I've done it before. I lose weight, I lose fat. I'm like, dude, I look worse than I did before. And I lost muscle, or my face will be like, and then you look like crap, and you try to gain the weight back and you gain it all the wrong places. So the secret is to lose it in the right places and gain it, in the muscle areas. Have you seen Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead documentary? I don't think so. Is drinking alcohol occasionally? Nah, it's fine. How much sugar per day should we eat? I don't know. Depends on the person. Cardio before a workout or after? Neither. Do cardio on an off day. Remember, guys, when you do cardio before a workout is the stupidest time to do it because you're going to burn up the sugar, the carbohydrate, the glucose. So when you do the cardio first, you're going to do all that. Then when you're going to work out, there's no more sugar and your muscle is going to end up using protein and amino acids. You don't want that. You can do cardio after the workout. That's fine. But it's got to be in a really easy, like 10 or 15 minute, 20-minute easy walk. Because if you do too much cardio and you get a pump, that's burning up sugar that your muscles already used. So now it's going to end up burning more muscle and increase cortisol levels. Keep asking the same question. There's a reason I ignore it. Do you lose 67 calories per day per fart? Yes, only if you're an idiot moron. Don't you guys just love these silly, dumb questions? Walking in the morning or evening for fat loss, doesn't matter. I walk in the morning and the evening. What are signs of high cortisol levels? When your face is a moon face, you have a hump on your back, you have a lot more belly fat, when you can't sleep well at night, and then yet you're tired in the morning, those are all high signs of cortisol. Can you stop a receding hairline? Yes. Can very low body fat stunt hair loss? No. Ideal fat ratio? I don't know. So listen, guys, a couple of things. If you want to lose weight, if you want to lose fat, if you want to do anything in life, you need to stick to a regimen every day. This is very important. Listen carefully. It doesn't matter what diet. Every diet works. The best diet is the one that you can stick to. The best eating schedule, the one that you can stick to. If I said you got to eat fish and you despise fish, it's not going to work. Okay. If I said you got to eat certain vegetables and you hate it, don't do it. Some people can't do with vegetables because it makes their stomach bad. If I said you got to eat 8 times a day to get all your calories, you don't want to do it, don't. You know, it all depends on what you can stick to. But you got to stick to something and you got to do it every day, week in, week out, month in, month out. The reason I created Lean Optimizer is because one of the problems when you lose weight, you start to decrease your appetite, cravings, all this. Your body's like, uh-oh, something's going wrong, and it increases your appetite. Listen carefully, because it doesn't want you to lose weight. It wants stability, homeostasis, okay? So when you start to lose weight, it increases your appetite. And it wants you to eat more. So you do everything you can to not eat more, then your body slows down your metabolism. It's this constant battle. That's why I created Lean Optimizer. But you got to stick to a regimen, week in, week out, month in, month out, and eventually your body will start to lose weight. You got to just stick to it. And once you've achieved the weight loss, you have to stick to it. And eventually your body will create a new homeostasis, a new balance point, a new weight set. So again, if you lose 10 pounds and you keep it off for 2-3 years, your body now wants to keep off. So keep that in mind. You got to stick to it long term. And the older you get, the harder it is. So that's it for today. There's a link underneath this video, how to receive an additional 25% off this week. It's only 2 more days. That's an additional total 55% off. There's also links in the video about some of the products I mentioned today. If your goal is to lose weight, decrease appetite, increase your metabolism, decrease cortisol levels, and decrease blood sugar levels, and sleep better, and block sugars and fats and improve digestion. The other thing I want you to do is, again, take action. And also a couple of things. Tomorrow we're going to talk about energy, I think. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. I'm greatly appreciative. I hope this stuff was helpful. And thanks for all the birthday wishes. Again, take a look at the coupon below. It's only good for another day or two. As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a happy and healthy day.